Last time I remember seeing my sister was July the 10th. Judy was left here on the living room couch.
Judy Parks was 14 years old when she went missing.
Judy Parks was 14 years old at the time. She went missing on July the 10th, 1976, and she went missing from her home on 2 Keating Drive in Halifax.
The police officers had rang the doorbell. They said, "No, we got bad news to tell you."
Judy Parks' remains were discovered on October the 9th, 1976, and they were discovered on the 103 highway, approximately a mile from the city. At the time, the highway was a 2-lane highway. It's since changed. Now it's a twin highway going out in that area. And her body was discovered on what at that time would have been almost like a path through the woods. And she was discovered there with her body was partially covered. The discovery of the body would have led investigators to believe that the circumstances immediately were suspicious, and it was later confirmed by the medical examiner at the time that it was a homicide. Yeah, once the Judy's body was discovered and it was deemed a homicide, there were a number of detectives that were assigned to investigate it. From what I've read, and again, I wasn't working that investigation at the time, but it appeared to be a very thorough investigation. They interviewed many people. They did thorough canvasses of the area, followed up on all the tips that I saw come in at the time. And as far as I could see, it was a very thorough professional investigation. I've been a homicide investigator slash supervisor for probably around 10 years. And I've seen cases that weren't solved that we've been able to solve, and I've seen what transpires to give us enough evidence to go to court. And I firmly believe that a lot of these cases can be solved. Again, there's certain things that have changed. Forensic evidence has changed. We've been able to solve some cases by getting, forensic evidence that was collected 20 years ago before, the new databases and the new science that's out there. And we've been able to get enough evidence to bring, cases to trial. But also, people, again, their circumstances have changed, and we've had people that have come forward and given us statements that weren't willing at the time to give us statements for whatever different reasons.
I'm kind of an optimist, and I like to think that any case can be solved. Now, certain investigations can be quite difficult for a number of reasons. People, pass away over the years. Memories fade. But I think with this case and many other cases, someone out there has information. There's someone out there that can come forward and give us, potentially give us the information we need to advance this file and solve the case. So, that's the hope, that we can, kind of motivate someone to come forward and do the right thing and talk about what happened to Judy. Any homicide investigation, you have a victim, and it's a tragic event. When you think of Judy and the fact that she was 14 years old, it gives you more, some motivation, I guess. In any case, you're motivated to solve the crime and to bring someone to justice. But when you have an innocent 14-year-old girl, there's definitely a desire there to bring closure and bring someone to justice.
The biggest part of why cold cases are so difficult to solve is that investigators have already spent a considerable amount of time looking at the facts, examining the forensic evidence, interviewing the people that they think might have information in relation to it, but also collecting any video, these type of things. And the fact that they haven't been able to bring it to a successful conclusion and that they haven't identified the perpetrator and brought them to justice means that you're looking over something that's already been investigated, usually fairly thoroughly. I can tell you police take homicide investigations very seriously. They put a lot of resources, basically all the resources they can put toward a homicide investigation. So you're looking at something that that's basically already been looked at under a microscope, and now you're trying to find out, is there anything that might have been missed? So it's, you know, it's almost like looking at a great big huge puzzle and seeing if there's one little tiny piece that might have been missed that may complete the whole picture and might bring you to a successful conclusion in identifying who's responsible. Oh, I think that that, you know, any investigation, again, you're going to throw everything you have at it from an investigative standpoint. When it comes to a young girl, it's going to hit most people's heartstrings, and you're going to, you know, do everything you can to try to find out what exactly happened. I think, you know, when you look at us 42 years later, we're doing these interviews and trying to shed some light on it in hopes that that maybe someone's circumstance might change and they may be willing to speak with us. And those are the type of breaks that we hope to get in these older cases, that somebody's situation might change and that they might look at it and sort of realize maybe maturity, maybe for whatever reason, and come forward and help us find that missing piece.
You know, it's 42 years have gone by, and I've had the opportunity over the last little while to speak to Judy's family, and I know the pain that this has caused and the amount of suffering that the family has gone through over the years. It would bring a great deal of satisfaction for me to be able to tell them, and I know after all these years it would be, you know, a big moment for the family and a very satisfying event for everybody.
I do think of Judy every day. There's night and day. I'm always thinking. I'm hoping, and I'm really hoping, that they catch this person. I want this person to answer the questions that my father gave me and told me to ask, and my mother, which my mother has no memory of anything. There's someone out there right now that knows something. It might be just the littlest thing, but speak to the cops. Give them a call. Tell them. Anything would help.